Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad that you're with me this morning, that you have joined us to study English, and I'm proud of you for doing that. I know it's the middle of the summer, and sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, but we're doing just one video a week now so that it gives you a chance to have a little more free time. But I'm glad that you're watching this. Thank you for watching. And joining me today. My name is Marge Peterson. I'm with the Claiborne County Adult Literacy Council, and we have in the classroom classes, we have these virtual classes, we have a Zoom class for reading and pronunciation, and we hope that you, if you're interested in joining any of our classes, we also have the high school equivalency classes, and if you are interested and want to know more information, or if someone that you know wants to know information that you don't know, for example, then have them call, or you can call 361-595-1010. And you may have to leave your name and phone number, but someone will call you back with that information. So we're going to get started with idioms. I have been teaching idioms in different categories, and the category that we have right now is called sports, games, and athletics. Okay, so it's all going to be idioms that there may be an idiom, there may be a saying that's in the literal meaning, okay, because literal means that exactly what it means there. An idiom, it'll take those words, but it doesn't mean the same thing as the literal meaning. It's got a different meaning all its own. And for many of these, it's like the meaning of the idiom is not within the sports world. That's where the phrase comes from, but it's not, the meaning doesn't come from it. So let's do a little recap of the ones we had last week. To have a ball. Now, if you're playing basketball and you have a ball, you're holding the basketball, right? That's not what the idiom meaning is. To have a ball means to really enjoy yourself a lot. If you say, oh, we went to the beach or we went on vacation and had a ball, that means you really had a good time, okay? So you need to know that. It's not like you went on vacation and played basketball. No, maybe you did do that for part of it, but meaning you had a really good time, whatever you did. That's the way the ball bounces. This one I found in a couple different sources. That's the way life is. Things sometimes do not happen as we planned, and we can't do anything about it. So that's the way it goes is another idiom that you could say. That's the way it goes. The one reference that I used said that many years ago, when that's the way the ball bounces first became used as the meaning of that's the way life goes, there was another one that said that's the way the cookie crumbles, and we don't use that as much anymore, so I didn't put that up there, but those three things mean exactly the same thing. So if something happens, let's say that you have a special trip to go shopping, and then you get very sick. Well, that's the way the ball bounces. You can't go shopping if you're very sick. So, you know, it's the way that you can't do anything about. You may have something planned, but it's not like you can carry through with it. And that's the way life is sometimes, okay? On the ball, all of these have the word ball in them, the ones from last week, and one of the ones from today does too. If you're on the ball, someone who is on the ball is alert, effective, and able to handle things and situations quickly and intelligently. So it's a very much of a compliment if someone says, well, I think I'm going to choose you for this particular job because you're so on the ball. That's a compliment. That means they think that you are, that you can do the work quickly and effectively, and you're alert and you're intelligent and you can get things done well. So it's a good thing if you're on the ball. Has nothing to do with the ball itself, okay? To start or get the ball rolling. Okay, if you to actually roll a ball, okay? okay, that's a different story. But to start the ball rolling is to begin something that other people will join after you started it. So let's say that you want to plan a certain get together, excuse me, with some former students, with some students that you used to go to school with, okay? Maybe like a class reunion. And if someone says, oh, we should have a class reunion, yes, but nobody does anything about it. So then you said, okay, well, let's find a date and let's find a place and send out an email or send out a text or something like that. Let's get the ball rolling. So the idea is that somebody has to start it. So if you start it, other people will join it right after, or soon after you start it. That's the whole idea. Let's get to start or get the ball rolling. That means that you're going to put it into place and start something that will be good for everyone. Okay, and the last one, the ball is in your court. Now, when you play basketball or tennis or something like that, when it says the ball is in your court, especially with something like tennis, for example, if someone hits the ball to you, then it's your turn to hit it back. And so if the ball is in your court, it means it's your turn to speak or act next. So if something is happening and someone says, well, I did this, now the ball's in your court, which means now you are supposed to respond or act something to whatever someone did. So those are the ones we had last week. That's a review. Here are the ones for this week. Just the first one has to do with the ball. A whole new ball game. This means it refers to something that a completely different situation due to a new set of circumstances. For example, and this was an example that they gave in the book I used. It said, excuse me, texts and emails have made a whole new ball game for communications. Do you see what I'm talking about? That it used to be that people always called each other or wrote letters or something like that, but now people text each other or they email each other, Instagram or those kinds of things. Okay, it's a whole new ball game, which it's referring to how we communicate with each other. But it's a whole different set of circumstances. It refers to something that is completely in a completely different situation due to a new set of circumstances. So if you, let's say you work a certain job for many years and then they decide to have you work in a different department or go to a different part of the company. And you might, if someone says, well, how is it that, so it's a whole new ball game, it's a whole different situation and a new set of circumstances because you've been put in a different place or you're working in a different place. Very, very common, a whole new ball game, okay? To throw something together, now there's a couple different ways we can use it. It means to make or produce something quickly and without planning. So if you, let's say that you, let's say your family was going to go out to eat, but then everybody has different schedules and different things they have to do and say, oh, let's just eat at home, I'll throw something together. Which means I didn't plan to cook at home, but I'll just take whatever, you take something and you produce something quickly and usually effectively and without planning, that you take it and do it, you throw it together. It doesn't mean you throw it like you're throwing a baseball or something like that. If you throw something together, sometimes people do that for, sometimes they may use it if they get dressed quickly to go someplace. You say, oh, I just threw this on. That would be another way to do it. Throw something together means that maybe you would either, whether it's cooking or sometimes it might be, say you have a certain report. that you're supposed to do every month at the end of the month or something. You say, oh, I'll throw something together that you can do it quickly and produce it, okay, that because you haven't had a chance to do it. So throw something together, okay, it's something that we all do, I think, from time to time. Okay, a fishing expedition. Now you know what fishing is, and an expedition means to go on some kind of a trip of some kind, or you're going in a special place. This one, it's not really related to that too much, but you can see, here's the meaning. Trying to get or obtain information in any way possible. So that means that you're trying to find out some information, and you ask somebody some question because you want to find out more information, or you want to find out some exact information. So that when you go and ask them some questions, instead of being very direct, you might ask them some questions that are related to that. And so they might say, are you on a fishing expedition? That means, are you trying to find out some exact information from me, that you're not saying I want this exactly, but you're kind of going around a fishing expedition. You're trying to get your information in any way possible, okay? They use this in law enforcement sometimes because I've heard it. I like to watch mystery movies and things like that. And sometimes someone will go and question someone else. The police will go and question someone else. And he said, we're on a fishing expedition, because you're asking them various questions, but any way possible to find out the information you want. Okay, this one, it says fishing for something, but this is fishing for compliments. Compliments are nice things that people will say about you or your work or how you look or something. Nice things. If someone gives you a compliment, it's a nice thing they're saying. So, fishing for compliments. And this is kind of interesting. To do something and obviously wait for other people to say something nice about what you've done, or to compliment it, or to compliment you. Okay, so if you're fishing for compliments, say you have a new car, and so if you had a new car and you take it over to your friend's house and you drive it and you park it right in front of their house, and you say, well, what do you think? You know, and if they say, are you fishing for compliments? You know, because you want them to like your car and you want them to say something. You wait, and that's part of what the fishing for compliments mean. You obviously wait for them to say something nice about your new car, or oh, you've got good taste, about you possibly. Okay, so it's different than a fishing expedition. Fishing for compliments, you're waiting for someone to say something nice about whatever it is, whether it's you know, like a new house or a new car or new dress or something like that, or it could be something that you've done too, some project you've done or something. So, okay, and the last one today is learn the ropes. Okay, if you learn how to do a certain job correctly, you have learned the ropes. So that if someone says, well, you know, if you join, if you get hired by a company and you have to, say you have to make some reports every week, okay, but before you do the reports you have to check with this person and that person and that. You can't just make the report yourself. You have to like check with 3 different people. Well, and you learn to do that. You have learned the ropes. That means you've learned how to do it correctly, how they want you to do it, so that it all has to do with, usually it's having to do with a certain job, whether it's a paying job or whether it's you know, something that you volunteer to do, or just something that you have to do. Okay, so a whole new ball game. Throw something together. Fishing expedition. fishing for compliments, or learn the ropes. Okay, they're all pretty common idioms that we use, or you might hear them, sometimes you might hear them in newscasts, you might hear them in movies, you might hear them in conversations, or read them in a book, because all of those are quite common. So I hope that you will practice them, and maybe, you know, this evening when you're making dinner, if you throw something together, that you will be able to say, well, I just threw this together. Maybe your meal will be planned. So anyway, thank you. I hope that you've learned something new from those and use them. Okay, the second thing that we're going to do today is some grammar. And we have been studying, we did a lot with past tense, irregular and regular past tense. And then we did with the spelling of the usage and the pronunciation and the spelling and all that of the irregular past tense, and the same thing with the regular one too, because sometimes if you put an ed with something, which is what you do with regular ones, sometimes it adds a whole nother syllable. So we covered all that, and if you need to look back at some of the videos before this, why, you'll see those things. But now we've gone on, so now we are including, besides including the past, we're using past progressive. Past progressive tense. And I'm going to verb tense. Now, one of the things that we call it past progressive now. Before this, they used to call it sometimes past continuous, and this is why I'll show you why it was called past continuous. Okay, and we're going to look at some qualities of the past progressive tense, but we're also going to practice them. I'm going to put some things up here, and we'll practice. Can you see this okay?
No, it's just short.
Oh, it's too low? Okay.
It's okay.
Is it okay? Okay. Okay. The reason we use progressive, but because we say past progressive and is used to show an action in the past that was in progress, or something that happened continuously. That's why some older grammar books say past continuous, because it was something that was happening continuously. But it's happened in the past, not like it's right now, because there is a present progressive. If I say I am standing, or I am dancing, or something like that, that is present progressive, okay, because it's right now. But if you say I was standing outside for 3 hours, or I was dancing all evening, something like that, that's past progressive, because it was something that happened in the past, and it talks about an action that you had, okay? And I think all past progressive verbs are some kind of, have some kind of action involved in them. Okay, so we used to show that an action was in progress at a certain time in the past. Indefinite time too. But then we use past progressive and the simple past in one sentence to show that one action or event, the simple past, interrupted another action that was in progress, that was already going on. So if you say, I was sleeping, because that happened in the past, something that was going on, when the phone rang. okay? This is an action that happened in the past. Something was interrupted by something else, okay? So that the phone rang, that's in the past, it's a one specific thing, and the continuous thing, or the action in the past that was in progress, I was sleeping. Now, always, when you have past progressive, you use was or were. So it depends on if you say I was, but if you say you were, okay, and you use those tenses, or those words for you know, the regular way that you use them. He, she, or it was, okay, I was, you were, he, she, or it was, we were, you were, and they were, okay? So when you use that, and just that helping verb, okay? If you say, we were sleeping when the phone rang, okay? It would be the same thing. We were sleeping was going on, the phone rang, okay? The simple past, you see that right here? The simple past is the action that does the interrupting, okay? And we call it that way, but this part, I was sleeping, we were sleeping, that's the past progressive. So that's how you use them in the same sentence. Use past progressive and simple past in one sentence to show that an action or event interrupted another action or event that was already going on. So what was already going on? We were sleeping. And what's the action that happened? The phone rang, okay? So if you are, how do I say, if you are saying both things, if you want to say something in the past, if you, then you would use it that way. Now, what I'm going to, whoops, I have another one that talks more about, okay, about the way, how do I say, the same thing, but showing that you can change the word order around. You can change the order of the two parts of the sentence, the one with the continuous action, this is that continuing, and the interruption action, the one that interrupted the continuous. If you start the sentence with the continuous action, no comma is needed. We started this sentence, I was sleeping when the phone rang. Okay, we were sleeping when the phone rang. It's the same thing. But, however, if you start, let's see, if you start the sentence with the action that interrupts it, the simple past, you need a comma. And so if I said, I'm going to say the very same thing, but I'm going to change this order around. If I say, when the phone rang, then you put a comma after that. I was sleeping. You can say the same thing, but you change the order, okay? But if you put the interruption first, then you must use the comma, okay? I'm going to, here, let's try some more here. Some more examples. Here we are, okay. Let's see. Let's try this one. We'll get away from sleeping right now, because I hope that you're not sleeping, okay? Let's see, let me have the one, here we are. Here's the ones I wanted, okay. He was studying when his friend and instead of came over, I'm going to say stopped in. Okay, so that if you say, he was studying when his friend stopped in to visit. Okay, do you see? Here's your continuous one, past progressive. Okay, what happened? His friend stopped, and I'm going to say stopped in, because that's a two-word phrasal verb, which we're going to study some of those later too. In a way, they're kind of like idioms, but it's more like a verb phrase in itself. Stopped in. His friend didn't just stop. His friend stopped in, which means that if you stop in, that means you stop to visit just for a little bit. I'm going to stop in to your house later, or something like that, or he stopped in. So, what's in progress is he was studying when his friend stopped in to visit. Okay, so if you want to turn it around, let's say that when his friend stopped in, and I'm not going to put the visit, I'll just put, when his friend stopped in, he was studying. So after that, you want to put, that's your sentence, but after the first part, when you have the action that did the interrupting, okay, or that went on, that happened as the one that was in progress, he was studying, you have to put a comma at the end there. Let's see, if you have John was walking his dog when the storm came. Okay, so you see what's in progress? He was walking his dog. What happened? The storm came. Okay, so if you change it around, when the storm came, and this is an important thing for you to know if you're writing any kind of papers. When the storm came, and you actually take the pause when you're reading it. When the storm came, John was walking his dog. Do you see how that works there? Okay, we're going to do some more. We're going to do some more with questions and with how we use these. But do you see what was in progress? Okay. Was walking his dog when the storm came. When the storm came, John was walking. See, first you have the one, John was walking his dog when the storm came. But if you turn it around, it means the exact same thing. When the storm came, but you have to put this comma there. John was walking his dog, because then you're saying, when the storm came, this was happening. This was the progress, what was in progress. So, okay, that's all we're going to do today, but I hope that you will practice and maybe think of some things that have happened in the past, whether it has to be about working or sleeping or studying or walking or playing or something like that, and practice taking some write some sentences and practice turning them around. They have to have the same meaning, okay? But it was be a way that you can practice saying something was in progress and something else happened. Both would be in the past. It all happened in the past, but it's a way to combine the past progressive and the simple past. So, and we're going to do some other ones next time that have some other while and when plus. So, I hope that you have benefited from this lesson. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Be safe. Have a great week, and practice your English. Okay? Thank you. Thanks again. Bye.